Hey guys, welcome back to some Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. Today we're going to be doing, I think it's Ogre Ice Elementalist. So the three combos that we have left in the Greater Player Run: Mummy Summoner, Ogre Ogre Earth Elementalist, and Kobold Assassin. So I kind of want to do Mummy Summoner second in the list, and I think I want to end the run in a fairly, I guess, mediocre, like no, not a mediocre. Sorry, I want to do it on a moderately difficult, but not like super difficult run. I don't want to have to like stress about the last win, so I just kind of want to chill for my last win. So I think I'm gonna do Ogre, Ogre Earth Elementalist, and then I will do Mummy Summoner, and then Kobold Assassin. So stay tuned for that. So today, I guess we'll do some Ogre Earth Elementalist, and hopefully that will be good. And yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so let's talk about Ogre and let's talk about Earth Elementalist before we start, just so we have a nice, good idea of how the game plan is going to be. So the Earth Elementalist book, actually we'll start with Ogres first. Ogres have been changed in 0.19 and 20. They have lost the ability to effectively use Maces and Flails because the Mace and Flails aptitude went from +3 to -1, which is a insanely huge differential. So effectively, the opportunity cost you've got now for going Mason and Flails is insane. So there's really no point in going Mason and Flails. If you want to go into a weapon, probably do like polearms or staves. It's a lot more EXP efficient, and generally speaking, it'll make better use of your time anyway. Because Giant Spike Club at 22 Mason Flail, it's just a huge EXP investment, and you might as well just use a glaive or something like that. It's effectively better, because why would you bother, right? But anyway, so they've also had all their magic schools reworked, so now they don't have -3s and 4s or whatever's to all the magic schools, and they now have -1, which makes them a lot better casters. They've retained their fighting, and pretty much everything else is the same, but effectively what that means is your ogres are best played as mages, very mediocre ones, mind you, with poor-ish defenses but high health. That's effectively the best way to play them. Um, you can play them melee, but there's really no point. Honestly, it, it's just a significantly worse version of just old ogre. So you might as well just play ogres as a mage now, because the magic. I mean, you could say, oh, but ogres could be hybrids. Well, there's no real point in being a hybrid because all the charms suck, and most of the other spells are not insanely good for hybrids. I mean, there are a couple of styles like the semi-summoner style, and you know, did I miss anything? No. You can get like necromancy, you can get summonings, you can kind of get translocations, but really like all the conjuration stuff, there's no real need to do that. You're better off just funneling XP into something crazy like, I don't know, throwing or something. Who knows, right? So yeah, that's the ogre problem. I didn't really discuss that last time we did the run, so here it is. And now we'll go on with the Earth Elementalist. So the Earth Elementalist has Sandblast, which is the level 1 spell of choice. It's an interesting thing because it actually now always consumes 1 stone per cast to deal damage, irresistible, blah 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 blah. The spellbook itself is fairly mediocre. I'll talk about that in time. Leaves Rapid Deconstruction being a very nice mid-game spell, with Stone Arrow being a pretty good mid-range conjuration as well. Fairly decent spell, but Passfall and Petrify are generally subpar, not amazing. They do jobs, but they don't do really applicable jobs most of the time. Petrify being a hex, well, not really a hex, but like, it's not a hex as in a hex school, but it's effectively a debuff on the enemy that'll, it works similar to the Catopolis, so yeah, but it has a % chance of failing, and at 4 mana it's just kind of expensive for that stage of the game, and once you petrify the guy, it's not even like he's paralyzed, he's just hard to kill, it's just like, ah, god, it's just rough. So yeah, the best 2 spells in this book are definitely Stone Arrow and Leaves Rapid Deconstruction. The other 2 are kind of mediocre, so yeah. Possible has no real benefit other than just sometimes you can walk through walls if you're kind of far away from stuff and there's nothing hitting you, and the wall's thin and of a certain type. It's just kind of whatever. So generally speaking, the Earth Elementalist starting background will be some kind of mage, probably going into conjurations, probably going into orbital destruction, blah blah blah. That's the general idea of an Earth Elementalist at its core, if you're playing by the books. And I think I'll probably be approaching that, which means that I'll have to go with Sif or uh, Sif Muna or Vehemit, or I could go with Ashen Zari. So it's one of the three. Okay, so having said that, I'm going to train my Earth Magic per the usual obvious spellcasting, +1 spellcasting. Was abused a lot more earlier with Ogre because spellcasting was our only positive aptitude in a myriad of just insanely negative aptitudes. But now it's still good to have +1 spellcasting. Fighting +3, I always chuck it on Ogre. I never turn it off because it's just so convenient to do so. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So yeah, there's not too much I suppose that I need to worry about early in the game. Ogre health is pretty good. I just need to make sure that I'm not stepping over my bounds, I suppose. Now, I would usually pick up this hunting sling and use it liberally, but the issue is Stone Blast actually is very stone intensive. As you can see, I've already burned 7 stones. This is a definite issue for this character because I'm effectively just running out of stones already. I'm already burned through a third of my stock. I'm only on D1. Oh, thankfully I picked up some though. It's very RNG reliant sometimes on whether you can get stones or not. I've actually had a lot of games in the past where, with the new Sandblast, I've actually run out of stones, and it's actually ridiculous to think that that's the case. I don't know, it just doesn't seem incredibly functional for a level 1 spell. I feel as if it'd be much. Okay, so we put on the ring, we got +6 intelligence. That's going to make our Sandblast stronger, have less fail rate, and become hungerless, which is really good for us. It also means that all of our other spells become slightly more achievable to get online, and that means that we'll be basically rolling in stone arrows quite soon. Obviously, we won't have the mana to sustain stone arrow spam, but at least for the time being, it means that we have a potential damage upgrade if we need to fight something really scary. Now, in terms of stats, I think that Int is always the best for a mage. There's really no competitor, just because Int is really good on a mage. It increases our spell costing, it increases our spell power, decreases our spell failure rate, decreases your spell hunger. There's no real reason to pick anything else, unless you're really desperate for, say, Dex or Strength. And I think we do need a bit of Dex to just start dodging, but that's not until later. So I stepped over the Okawara and also the Wujan. I'm going to pick this blowgun up just in case. I stepped over the Wujan and Okawara altars. Those guys are melee focused cards. There's no real point in picking them up. I was kind of tempted to go with Okawara simply because I could transition into a melee build pretty easily, I'd say. It wouldn't be too hard to do that because ogres, like I said, they have not horrible aptitudes for melee. The thing I'm talking about was more specifically towards the opportunity cost of Mason and Flails. Saying, oh, why would you pick Mason and Flails when you could just be a mage? But having said that, you can still be a melee, and Okawara does that really well, and you could theoretically make a hybrid caster, I guess. It's not great, but there's a consideration, but clearly I haven't made that consideration in the positive, because, I haven't picked him yet. Okay, so these are some scary enemies. Ants here. On D4, that's not really that out of depth, so it's not bad. But we have plenty of stones now, 43. I'm just hoping that we get to, I guess, use all 43 stones eventually. As you can see, Sandblast does quite a hefty amount of damage for level 1 spell, but again, it has minimal range, and it also has issues with stone consumption. Okay, cool. Gonna just read some scrolls now, just to see if we can get any good things out of it. Okay, we managed to pick up enchant weapon scrolls. The remove curse and the teleport, that's good for us, and the heal wounds as well. So, usual identification minigame applies, just kind of ID the stuff with the most stacks, and then if you feel ballsy, just identify anything else. It doesn't really matter. It's not a huge deal. Now, another reason why I wouldn't be leveling strength regardless of what I was doing is because ogres always get strength upgrades whenever they level up anyway. So as you can see, my strength went up by 1 as I leveled up there, so it's at 13 now, but my dex will stay the same pretty much unless I level it up. My int will also stay the same. Also pretty cool that I have 24 int, but that's because of the +6 intelligence ring that we have on. Just reading a couple of extra scrolls, just, could get really lucky, get maybe a, some kind of crazy thing. Maybe some acquirement scrolls, giving us, I don't know, shield of resistance. That'd be great. That'd be a great pickup. I wouldn't lie about that. Alright, there's the ossuary. We can go in there. There's really nothing in there that can threaten us if we have 2 heal wounds potions, but at the same time, we're going to be fairly cautious about how we explore this place. It's very easy to get swamped in the ossuary in this particular vault because there's a lot of enemies here, and as a mage, we are limited by our mana on how much we can kill, so I'm effectively just taking that into account. Yeah, so if you guys have watched my Deep Elf, oh god, I'm lagging. Okay, this is unfortunate, but if I'll just make my point now. If you guys have watched my Deep Elf Conjurer, you'll know a lot of things about how mages are supposed to run in terms of their mana and their positioning and such. So, effectively, I want to be always mindful of how much mana I have left because that's effectively how much strength, how much battling power I have left, I suppose. Alright, we're getting just kind of screwed out of this. Okay, great. I don't know what that was. Okay, we're lagging again. This is good. Brilliant. Alright, cool. Let's just rest up. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. We're still waiting, guys. Sorry if I sound really, really off today. I'm trying to not really, yeah. I'm not on my best game today. Something happened, and I'm trying to get over it, but, it's very hard to do these kind of things sometimes. I apologize in advance if I start rambling. I just have nothing to talk about, and when the silence sets in, I do tend to ruminate a lot to myself, and I'm in a room by myself, so even though you guys can hear me, it doesn't feel like that sometimes. This is pretty interesting. Okay. Let me just check if my, I could actually switch to phone data if worst come to worst. So I'm just gonna quickly. Oh, motherfucker. Okay. Well, I see how it wants to be. It wants to wait until I go grab my phone and then it decides to just start working again. Alright. Fair enough. That's what it wants to do. So again, look at this. We're at 16 stones already. So I'm going to start using the stone arrow now. Just because, even though it's less mana efficient at this stage in the game, well, in general, than sandblast, I just need to preserve my stones. For no real reason, actually. Maybe I just shouldn't bother. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Just going to use the ID scrolls to ID 2 other things. I kind of want to wait for the enchant weapon scrolls to be used on some branded tool rather than wasting it on this +0 dagger of nothing. Just seems like kind of a waste. Okay, this Pakel, we have no particular way of dealing with him other than just stone arrowing him, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We'll pull him upstairs though. We'll give him the respect that he deserves. Thankfully he doesn't have a wand on him, but look at that. Nice and easy. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and just loot Pakel's stuff. Put on his robe, and it's with the flaming, and we'll also enchant the with the flaming to +3. Just because there's no real reason not to. We won't really bother training the. Okay, I'll just learn every spell in case we need it, but we won't have to bother with, I guess, training Mason Flails right now. There's no real point. We don't care that much about this weapon. It's just kind of there in case we need to fight someone in melee. We just want to have a decent weapon. That's really all it is. I really wish I had those stones right now. Wow, that's like one of the few times where you actually really wish you had those stones. That is unfortunate for us. So we have no stones to cast our spells with, so we have no level 1 spell anymore. Which is, again, why I really dislike the way that this, my goodness, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, let's put this magic mapping scroll on the buy list. And let's actually try to find potions of flight. Okay, it didn't work. But, yeah, I really need stones. Wait, were there stones in there? No, okay. Yeah, I feel as if having the, okay, there's stones, but it's only 14, so it's not enough. I really honestly wish that the way that the spell worked was it uses a stone, but if it doesn't use a stone, it reverts back to its old, weaker form. Because, come on, this is a bit ridiculous, right? I have no level 1 spell because of RNG. You can't tell me, oh, just don't use your level 1 spell. That's not an argument, right? How can you tell someone to not use a level 1 spell? That doesn't make any sense. Earth Elementalist is just a very weird thing. That's Kael'wen's Ghost. I'm not going to bother with him this time. Been seeing him a lot on the server recently. I don't know who he is, but he's been losing a lot of games, so it's unfortunate for him, I guess. Let's go ahead and go downstairs to D6. There's more. Oh god. There's more stones over there. That's really good for us. Okay, use Stone Arrow again because, like I said, we want to kind of hold on to these stones until we have a pretty good surplus so we can spam it properly. There we go, 24 stones. Now we have 43 again, so we can start using. I mean, it's really weird to say, oh, let's use our stronger spell to save for the weaker spell. It seems kind of weird, but we need spell mana efficiency, and that's what Sandblast gives us, and Stone Arrow does not do that. So we can just kind of use Stone Arrow to kill single target enemies, but Sandblast is what we want to use for stronger enemies. For smaller groups of enemies. There's a War Axe of Chopping. It's not as good as the Whip, mostly because we don't have Axis Trained. We won't ever have Axis Trained. But for the time being, we're doing pretty well, actually. We've got a lot of our spells mostly online, which is pretty good. I actually like Lee's Rapid Deconstruction on E, I think. So I think now we can use Lee's Rapid Deconstruction, which is really good. Actually, no, I like it on F? No, D. It's been some time since I played Earth Elementalist. It was the tournament, I think, when I last played it. So, yeah. Kind of forgot what my original hotkeys were for some reason. Even though I normally don't forget. Today, like I said, I'm a bit frazzled. So, ooh, +5 Ring of Dex. That does absolutely nothing for us. Okay, brilliant. I love how 5 entire dexterity doesn't change our evade by even 1. It really just goes to show you how good stats are sometimes. How ineffectual they are. Oh god. Come on. Let's go upstairs. Alright, so D7 is the last floor for the Ecumenical Temple, so we're hoping to go and get that now, please. Please, game, come on, just get me Ecumenical, guys. Okay, I need to run away from these orcs, mostly because they're scary dudes, and I'm not into that as much. Okay, so a cool little thing you can do with Petrify is you can actually use Rapid Deconstruction Petrification. So let me explain how it works. So basically, you can cast it on any wall, and it blows up the wall, or it has a chance to, and it deals damage based on what kind of wall you blew up. So normally you would use it on the dungeon walls like this, and it kind of works like a mini firestorm. But if you use it on an actual petrified enemy, it does a ton of damage, like so. And it does fairly good amount, and I think it's more accurate, but I'm not exactly sure about that. It feels more accurate for sure, though. Alright, Earth Magic is level 8 now. We're doing pretty well for ourselves. We want, ideally, Bahamut or Ashen-Zari. I think that, based on the fact that Earth Magic tends to be very mana inefficient, but also very short range, possibly Bahamut is better. I mean, mana inefficiency means that Sifmuna's channel is better, and also that we'll be able to dip into our negative mana reserves a lot more. But at the same time, Bahamut provides us with the covering of the weakness of Earth Magic, which is Earth Magic is really clunky. It's really short range, and it's super inaccurate, and it just generally has poop, like just poop efficiency. It hits everything, but it sucks at hitting everything. Like Iron Shot, for example, is the perfect thing. It's stubby, it hits like a truck, but it misses a lot. And Bahamut, I feel, gives you that one extra tile of range, which means one extra shot, which probably is better than having the mana of Sifmuna. But Sifmuna is really good as well, so it's kind of a 50-50 on which one I'd pick. I think this time I'll just go with Bahamut. If I die, I'll probably go with Sif next game, just for posterity's sake. No, posterity is not the right word, is it? I keep using it for some reason. Okay, so I just shot that without thinking. That's a Spriggan Enchanter of McLeod. It's not a very strong character, particularly. So, okay, never mind. This is a very strong character. I'm sorry. I changed my mind. God, please, no. Let's try to get... Okay, we got the confusion up. Just teleport and run away. Okay, I was thinking because the Spriggan Enchanter is not that great as a start. You wouldn't be able to do much, but it hit me pretty hard. Alright, so there's the power of Lee's Rapid Deconstruction right there. It just hits like a truck. It makes a buttload of noise, but it hits really hard. And the cool thing is, compared to, say for example, fire spells, is I don't have to worry about any kind of resistance. It doesn't matter. As long as they're not like super armored up, I can mostly shatter them, deconstruct the walls around them and just do billions of damage. It's very strong spell. And it's also smite targeted, which means that as long as there's a wall around, you can hit anything on the screen. And it's an AoE as well. So it's a very nice spell. It's fairly unique in the game. But it fulfills a role similar to Fireball, with positives and negatives when you compare it to Fireball. For example, here, it can hit from behind enemies, whereas Fireball has to hit. With Fireball, you have to at least have one tile of distance or diagonal distance or what have you. But with Laser Rapid Deconstruction, there's no need for that at all. But then, damn. These guys stay invisible? No, they can't. Okay. We'll probably chuck our invisibility here. Just because it's easier to get rid of. And also, we just kind of need a little bit of space. We don't need, like, a super insane escape. We just need to kind of get away from stuff for a second. And that was pretty much what invisibility is good for, if you're not stabbing stuff. It's also good for crowd control, but, you know, that's beside the point, isn't it? Okay. Anyway. Ooh, I'm gonna pick up this one of paralysis. Of all the ones, I think this one's a really good one. There's a dagger here. I want to hold that. Okay. If it was Venom, I'd probably be using that as my main weapon. Or Electrocution, of course. Can't forget about Electrocution. Okay, Sandblast just one-shot that ogre. That's pretty fun. Like I said, Sandblast is a really good spell. If only they kind of made it so that it's not so polarizing, it'd be a lot better of a tool, I suppose. Okay, so we didn't get a D8 lair. That's fine. We don't really want a D8 lair anyway. Lair can spawn obviously between D8 and D11. If you guys have been keeping up with the Greater Player series, I must have mentioned it at least once. But yeah, I honestly don't know who's watching the Greater Player series in the middle of it rather than just starting from the beginning. I mean, it was all done in 0.19, I think. I don't think it was done in 0.18 at all. Maybe it was. I don't know. I have very bad memory when it comes to these kind of things. And just in general, really. Okay, that was a bit unfortunate. Turns out this Whip of Flame sucks. I wasn't expecting it to suck that bad, but yeah, it really does nothing. For a mage, my ideal, like, starting weapons that are pretty common are well-branded daggers, like poison, electrocution, etc. Flails of protection are really good. I do dig those. Uh, like crushing is also fine, but generally a whip is of such a crap brand is not that exciting for this character. For melee, I mean, yeah, sure, because you're already training it, right? But for me, nah. Throw Flame effectively fills the same slot as Throw Stone Arrow, except it's longer range, and it doesn't work against fire-resistant enemies. I don't think that the trade-off is so necessary that I need to actually worry about that, so I'm just... Oh god, please stop. Okay. Well, the Stone Blast there got me. I'll admit it, he got me. Got me good. Hit me with that unblockable setup. Damn, okay. Well, thankfully Sandblast is pretty good. Look at that. It's a very good spell for level 1. Does a lot of damage. So I'm gonna just kind of meme and blow up the Bio statue. You really don't have to, but it's kind of funny because I think I don't know if it's still around, but before, at least, if you LRD'd or disintegrated a Bio statue, Bio would just, like, smite you. It's like God Wrath, but it only happens once. Every time you blow up a Bio statue, he has a chance of just smiting you for some reason. You're like, oh, cool interaction. I actually kind of want to try it. Yeah, it doesn't look like Bio cares anymore, so that's pretty funny, I guess. That's, okay, fine, I suppose. Like, seriously, it doesn't do anything? Okay, I guess they removed it. The Stone Idol shatters. It's not a Stone Idol of Bio anymore, I guess. Interesting. Very interesting. I mean, you would know they're of Bio because, you know, they're right next to the Orcish mines. You would assume they would be of Bio. I don't know what else they would be of. You weird orcs. You weird idiots. Alright. Just using Sandblast still. I really shouldn't, though. With 14 stones. With 11 stones. I can't afford to do that. But I'm gonna do it anyway. Whip of Freezing. It's barely any better than Whip of Flaming. I would argue it's better, though, because of the fact that it just hits it hits cold-blooded enemies pretty hard, and slows them. Well, I don't think it does extra damage to cold-blooded enemies, but it definitely slows them as a side effect, which is nice. Alright, bees are generally the ogre's worst enemy because if you're in melee with them, they're just a horrible nightmare to deal with, but because we're a mage, we care a lot less about that kind of thing. Okay, there's an invisible thing here. I'm just hoping that I kill it. I didn't kill it. Oh my god. That's very unfortunate for us because we kind of needed to kill that thing. Okay, let's go on a different staircase for now. What time is it? I'm so tired. Okay. Alright. So it's D10 now. It's usually where we want to see Lair, roughly. We can go down to D11, which is where Lair could also be. Hey, it is D10 Lair. But, you know, generally it's a little riskier to go down to D11. I find that it tends to be a little bit dangerous, on the dangerous side. Obviously, you can throw Icicle. Okay, so the reason why I think that Throw Icicle is good enough is because it does higher damage than Stone Arrow. As a level 4 spell, it'll do more damage in general. And I don't really need much more Earth Magic, so I'm going to turn that off now. I'm also going to turn some Ice Magic on. I would train some dodging, but I feel like I should probably just keep this stuff up. Conjurations is pretty good to have up. Throw Icicle is kind of weak right now. But, I don't know, I feel like 6 is not enough. Okay, we'll just not worry about dodging for now. I don't think that training dodging really does much for this character anyway. We'll be fighting for pretty minimal gains. So the reason why I want Throw Icicle is because of, for two reasons really. First of all, it has higher damage components. Even though it's less resistible, it still has that that nice little charm about it that, you know, it still hits quite a bit against, like, say for example, non-undead enemies. For Icicle is really strong, has better range, just in general it tends to be a bread and butter spell, whereas Stone Arrow, like, kind of, sorry, what are we talking about? Where's this invisible thing? Why is it not dying? God damn it, man. Okay, well, that's very unfortunate for us. Like, I shot so many things at that invisible thing and it just didn't die. That was weird. Okay, there it is again. Motherfucker. I'm gonna just shoot stone arrows though. Look, I killed him in one hit this time. It's so stupid. Alright, anyway. I don't know what we're talking about. Okay, actually, I need to... Oh, scroll up apartment. Let's get... see, look, I'm thinking of armor, but I'm also thinking of staff. Staff is surprisingly not bad. Having a very early, say for example, not an earth staff, but a staff of power, staff of energy, staff of hunger is really good. It's surprisingly good, actually. And generally, armor is a real shit show. You either get really good stuff or you get garbage, and I don't really want garbage, so it's kind of hard to justify. Whereas staves generally are pretty good for you. I guess I'll get a staff right now. Alright, see, staff of energy, perfect. That's great. Because that means that now we don't have to even worry about spellcasting anymore. We can just turn dodging on instead. It has like an immediate benefit, which is good. Okay, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's throw one icicle, pull upstairs. LRD. No. Alright, perfect. I need to make sure I don't die here. How do I do that? I can't do anything, man. Shit. If I just get like an ATAL surround like this, I might just be dead. Like, fuck. Yeah, see, look, I'm just gonna die. Like, fuck. Like, I fucking knew it. Like, what the fuck, man? Oh my god. Alright, guys, look. Tomorrow I need to do a stab run. Sorry, not stab run. I'm gonna do my presentation tomorrow on doing stabbers, because I can't just can't do this right now. I will get back to you guys. I'm sorry, I'm just not in a really good state of mind right now. So I'll get back to you guys on this, because this is really, that's fucking so annoying. Like, I should have, what could I have done there? I could have teleported the moment I got down. I just really needed to pull those guys up and then blink away. I didn't have blink. I didn't have, did I have fear? I feel like I would have used it if I had it. I think I read my only one. So also I got teleported next to the enemy. That's also very unfortunate. But all right, look, I'm gonna leave the video here, guys, because I just need to go to sleep. Can't do this right now. It's more serious than it sounds. Sorry, it's less serious than it sounds. My brain's like just kind of turned off right now. I can't bring myself to even to explain what just happened there, because it's just, I actually almost fell asleep just then. Okay. Good night, guys. Thanks for watching. Sorry about that.